Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to talk about a little bit of Spider-Man news. Now, some of you may or may not know about the drama that is going on with Spider-Man 4. In fact, this video is probably going to be called Marvel and Sony Battle Over the Future of Spider-Man 4, over the direction of Spider-Man 4. Right now, Sony is not doing well. They just released one of the worst comic book films, one of the worst films in the last decade. Definitely the worst comic book film in the last decade. They just released one of the worst films of all time, and that was after releasing another one of the worst comic book films of all time in Morbius. So, Sony is not doing well, and let's face it, Kraven is gearing up to be another bomb. It's gearing up to be another stinker. So Sony is kind of reeling, and in the midst of Sony reeling, in the midst of the mystery, so to speak, around Spider-Man 4, rumors came out by some really reliable sources about the battle that Marvel and Sony are having over the direction of the Spider-Man 4. Now, we all know that there's been a while now since we started hearing rumblings that Kevin Feige and whatnot, like they wanted to do a new trilogy. They wanted to bring on a new director and do a new trilogy. That the original Homecoming trilogy was really like the prequel to him being the Spider-Man that we all know of in the comics. I disagreed. I made a video about how my feelings on the end of No Way Home. But regardless of which, Kevin Feige plans on bringing Tom Holland back, bringing on a new director, and doing a different approach to this new trilogy. And we started to hear that the battle is that Sony, particularly the head of Sony, I think his name's like Rothman or something like that, Tom Rothman or something like that, he wants to not only make another multiversal movie, but he wants to bring back John Watts to work on it, and he wants to rush the release date. He wants it to come out in 2025. Now, obviously, Feige has already written his plans out. He's already got things working the way he wants it to work. We're finally starting to get the bigger picture of the MCU. They're creating new, they just launched Marvel Animation and Spotlight. So like Marvel's kind of getting their shit, not that they had their shit out of together. You already know how I feel about the things that have been going on with the MCU. It's just been kind of unfortunate. But they're getting the general public on track with where the direction they're trying to go in. Unfortunately, Sony is in desperation mode. They don't have a big blockbuster. As someone has pointed out, they don't have a big blockbuster coming out in 2025. At least nothing they have faith in would make big money. They're coming off of these bombs. They're desperate to make a movie. And Spider-Man No Way Home made $2 billion. So Sony really wants to cash in, or at least Tom Rothman wants to cash in on that. As we're hearing, is Amy Pascal, the former head of Sony Entertainment, she's pushing Kevin Feige's idea. Because what we're hearing from Marvel, the MCU side, is Marvel wants to make it more grounded. In fact, something along the lines, they want to make it more of a grounded story, street-level Spider-Man story, where maybe he teams up with Daredevil to fight the Kingpin or something along those lines. Now, I don't know how much the Kingpin aspect is, but that's what we're hearing is Kevin Feige wants to make a story where Spider-Man is a street-level vigilant. He's a street-level character fighting, maybe teaming up with Daredevil to fight the Kingpin or something along those lines. That's what Marvel wants to do. Whereas Sony wants to make another multiversal movie. They want to bring back the same director. They want to bring back Tobey and Andrew. They want to do that same thing they just did, just a more live action Into the Spider-Verse basically, and try to cash in on that because they saw how much money they made. Meanwhile, Kevin Feige is basically like, at least from what, if the rumors are to believe, it's basically like, I've already made these plans. I've made plans already. I can't account for this shit. And now there's this tension going on. And earlier today it was just released that Amy Pascal, who also wants the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie to be in the MCU. She wants Kevin Feige to work on that movie. She wants the Miles Morales Spider-Man to be in the MCU. Tom Rothman doesn't. He wants it to be outside. Because, like, Sony is really, really, really desperate to try to make a franchise. And it just isn't working out with anything other than Venom. And the problem is the only thing I don't get with Sony is I don't see why are you fighting so hard? You know what I mean? You guys already battled back and got 75. You guys already make 75% of the entire profit, basically, on the Spider-Man movies. Like, Marvel has saved that IP. And some people don't want to believe that because some people love the Andrew Garfield one, some people love the Tobey one. But let's face it, both of those franchises, the Tobey and Andrew one, was about to go south because of Sony. Marvel saved Spider-Man. They did. Sony has never made any more money work on Spider-Man movies than when they started working with the MCU. So I don't know why Tom Rothman, I think that's his name, won't just let Feige cook. There's this weird thing, and it goes back to something years ago. Back when they first started, when we thought this deal might have been done, and like they had their first tiff, and like, you know, we thought Tom was gonna be taken out of the MCU. We didn't know what was going on. Years ago, I remember somebody saying, like, reporting that Rothman essentially said, or the head of Sony essentially said, "We've learned everything we can from the MCU. We think we can make our own cinematic universe." That's essentially what he said, from what I remember hearing. And I remember hearing it and being like, well, that's some arrogant shit to say. And so, when I hear these news about them fighting over the future of Spider-Man, it's not shocking when you understand that the head of Sony's movie entertainment department thinks that he's learned everything from the MCU, thinks that he can recreate what the MCU has done. It's very Warner Brothers, like 2000. It's very 2016 Warner Brothers. Like, at least that's the mindset he has. Not aware of these shit movies he's putting out. It'd be different if they were putting out quality movies, because then it'd be like, shit. Like, but he's putting out shit movies. So it's like, you guys are willing to screw up this relationship, this profitable relationship, out of desperation. And all I can think is this man is trying to find a way to keep his job, because I can only imagine that the people at Sony at a certain point would be like, well, shit, Feige's making more money for us than you are. Why don't we just like get rid of you? We could just get rid of you and cut out the middleman and just have a dude who works with Feige or something. I don't know. All I know is this beef has got to end, because I would hate for Tom Holland Spider-Man. They were talking so another bit of news that was popping around is how Marvel is looking for the next character to center the main MCU story around, the same way they did with Iron Man and Captain America. And to me, it's pretty fucking obvious what it was gonna be. To me, it's clear that the MCU was gonna center around 4 characters, and stuff went sideways. It was gonna center around Spider-Man, T'Challa, Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel. To me, if you go back and watch the MCU, the ending of the the ending, those were the 4 characters that the MCU were going to center around. And Doctor Strange had a whole bunch of shit going on with it. The multiverse saga has had a whole bunch of shit going on with it. Sony, they can't rely on having Spider-Man because of Sony. The Captain Marvel franchise just pumped out one of their worst financial movies of all time, and no movie is like that was the biggest bomb Marvel's had in a decade. So and Chadwick Boseman passed away as T'Challa. So their plans have just gotten exploded. But the one thing that I know for sure is that Tom Holland Spider-Man was supposed to be the centerpiece of the MCU going forward. They set it up they pretty much set it up. I mean, he was literally Tony Stark's protege. They literally talked about it throughout the entirety of Far From Home. It is clear that he was supposed to be the new head guy. But Marvel can't rely on Sony. Marvel doesn't know what the fuck Sony's gonna do, how they're gonna get in a fight. So Kevin Feige can't properly fucking make plans with Spider-Man in mind, because he doesn't know if he'll have Spider-Man. And the whole entire situation just really makes me wish Marvel could find some way to buy the rights to Spider-Man back from Sony. I don't know how much it would cost, but whatever it would cost would be worth it, just so these guys can stop, man. Just so they can stop. It's just ridiculous, man. It really is. And the fact that Sony responds to a second bomb in a row by fighting with Marvel Studios over the direction to go with Spider-Man, fighting with the guys who helped make you $2 billion, fighting with them, just goes to show just how competent those guys are over at Sony, and it's a bit ridiculous. And I'm really hoping that Kevin Feige can win this narrative battle. Right now, the current situation, at least the rumored current situation, is Feige is going to win the battle over the plot, but Sony might win the battle over them rushing out the movie, which, if it's going to be something street level, he may be able to navigate that without having to change his plans too much. But still, it's a damn shame that Marvel can't do, because like I say, I have a feeling that things would have been a lot different in the MCU if Marvel had full rights to them, not even from the beginning, just for right now, because I know in my heart that Tom Holland Spider-Man was supposed to be the lead of the MCU, but because as so many people know too, and I talked about this on the channel, No Way Home was not supposed to be a multiversal movie. No Way Home was supposed to be a fugitive movie about Spider-Man on the run and Kraven the Hunter hunting him down. None of this multiversal shit was supposed to happen with Spider-Man. So So when you really go into it thinking about that, Spider-Man was supposed to be a low-T character. You know what I mean? None of this Doctor Strange, timey-wimey, none of that shit was supposed to happen, bruh. It was supposed to be him being hunted. Now, granted, I'm sure it would have been a different way that he got his identity, not cleared up, but there would have been some other way they dealt the identity thing. But yeah, it wasn't even supposed to be that. So knowing that Kevin Feige's mindset has always been to introduce new villains, to keep it low key, to do that, it really does make me hope that he can get his version of Spider-Man 4 through. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Kyle Game News Show. Please like and subscribe. And what do you think about this drama behind Spider-Man 4? Are you with Sony? Do you want a multiversal story? Or do you want a grounded story? Maybe even a team up with Daredevil as they fight the Kingpin, old 1990s Spider-Man cartoon style? Comment below and let me know. Thank you guys for joining me on Kyle Game News Show again. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.